canvas by Adam Elsheimer, the most famous German painter at the beginning of the 17th century. A work that just exudes the joy of living by Lucas Cranach the Elder. Tobias and the Archangel Raphael by Adam Elsheimer, German painter. The Archangel should ask what kind of bait he used. This canvas was acquired in 1894 by the National Gallery. It was based on a composition he had previously done. Ooh, Judith in the Tent of Holofernes by Johann Lis, 1595 to 1631. What will she do with that head? The Virgin and Child by Albrecht Dürer, 1471 to 1528. Painter, mathematician, and foremost, an engraver, a virtuoso of the Buren. The Ambassadors, 1533 by Hans Holbein the Younger. In the foreground we can see a distorted skull, a symbol of mortality. St. Paul on Malta by Adam Elsheimer, 1578 to 1610. St. Catherine of Alexandria, in good company, painted around 1450 by Stefan Lochner, a hand shutter of an altarpiece presented in 1863 by Queen Victoria at the Prince Consort's wish. Charity by Lucan Cranach the Elder, canvas loaned to the museum. Portrait of a Woman by Lucas Cranach the Elder, 1472 to 1553, official painter of the Saxony court. Cranach's style has such ambience, he depicted well the total lack of fantasy. A Cranach. The painter's father, Albrecht Dürer. He's probably seen happier days. German Gallery. Hans Holbein the Younger died of the plague in London in 1543. His works are on loan to the museum. There's no inscription here. I'll speak to the director, perhaps. The Countryside, painted by Salomon van Rushdael, born in the first few years of the 17th century, died 1670. It makes you want to rest for a moment. A winter scene with skaters near a castle by Averkamp, 1585 to 1634, one of the greatest painters from the Dutch school of the 17th century. He specialized in winter scenes. The painting originally extended into a square shape. A work by Jan Steen, painter of the Dutch school, a moralist. Willem van de Velde, a Dutch painter who dedicated his talent to the sea. A terrible naval battle scene by Ludolf Bashuizen. View of the Westerkerk, Amsterdam, painted by Jan van der Heyden, probably in 1660. A canvas by Gerard ter Borch, Dutch subject and portrait painter, influenced by Velázquez. A young woman seated at a virginal, painted by Vermeer, Dutch painter of the 17th century. Dutch Gallery. Jacob van Ruysdael, 1628 or 9 to 1682, one of the major landscape artists of Dutch golden age of the 17th century. A painting by Rembrandt, the sum of his works inspired Baudelaire to write Rembrandt's Sad Hospital Full of Murmurs. Self-portrait at the age of 63 by Rembrandt, the year of his death. The painter affirmed, "I do not paint the man, I paint the passage." An architectural fantasy painted by van der Heyden. A river scene with a Dutch yacht by van der Capelle. A coast scene, Jan van der Capelle, Amsterdam 1626 to 1679. The Swearing of the Oath of Ratification, painted by Gerard ter Borch, born in Zwolle in December of 1608 and died the 8th of December 1681. A beach scene with fishermen by Ludolf Bascoisen, 1630 or 31 to 1708. Self-Portrait by William Turner, born in 1775, extraordinary English painter. Lady Coburn and Her Three Eldest Sons by Sir Reynolds. Queen Charlotte, painted by Sir Thomas Lawrence, an 18th century painter. A canvas by Sir Reynolds. Colonel Tarleton, hero of the British forces during the American War of Independence. Dr. Ralph Schomburg by Thomas Gainsborough, 1727 to 1788. Lord Heathfield of Gibraltar by Sir Joshua Reynolds, 1723 to 1792, one of the greatest portrait artists of his time. English Painters' Hall. John Constable. He managed to turn a boring part of England into a place you'd almost want to visit. A canvas by William Turner, the painter of light. Margate from the Sea by William Turner. Here we have a precursor to Impressionism. A magnificent landscape by Gainsborough. Thomas Gainsborough, one of the most famous English portrait and landscape painters. The Painter's Daughters Chasing a Butterfly by Thomas Gainsborough, an unfinished painting but touching nevertheless. Sun Rising Through Vapour by William Turner. 40 years before Monet, Turner creates a new painting that dissolves forms in a quivering of atmosphere and light. The Evening Star by William Turner, the graceful transitional moment between day and night. Mr. and Mrs. Andrews by Gainsborough, an unfinished painting. An unrivaled landscape artist, he was obliged to do portraits in order to earn a living.